maybe there are many of us who are unhappy with the Congress, but sometimes, viewers, when the anger comes from within, you understand just how deep it perhaps runs. We are going to speak to Milind Deora, who was a loyalist and close aide of Rahul Gandhi. He just resigned from the Congress, viewers, yesterday, and he posted details about his resignation on social media. His family, his father, of course, Murli Deora, had been with the Congress 55 years. Huge association comes to an end. Viewers, let's speak to Milind Deora tonight and understand why he took this step, why he felt the need to leave the Congress party at such a pivotal moment, and on the day, of course, when Rahul Gandhi is also launching his yatra, or at least the second iteration of it. Now, Mr. Milind Deora, thank you for speaking to me. It's wonderful to see you. You, of course, are now with the Shiv Sena, and you've said, I was reading, that one of the reasons you quit the Congress is because it isn't the party, according to you, that you joined in 2004 and then became a member of parliament from that party, winning twice from Mumbai South. Now, how is the Congress different now?
Well, firstly, thank you for having me on your show.
Most welcome.
I would amend your question a little bit. You said I've changed my allegiances. I haven't changed my allegiance. My allegiance remains to my city, to my state, to my country. I've changed the platform through which I can deliver justice, through which I can deliver governance to the people of Mumbai, to the people of Maharashtra, and to the people of India. I've done that. It was a very painstaking decision to take. It was not something that I wanted to do for 10 long years. Despite not having power, I stayed loyal to this party. This party gave me a lot. Congress party gave me a lot, and I contributed tremendously to this party as well. So did my family. This is a two-way street. It's not one-way traffic. But ultimately, you have to ask yourself, what is your purpose in life and what is the purpose of your career?
Right.
And for me, the purpose of my career as a politician, the reason I entered politics in 2004 at excuse me, at a young age of 27, was to be able to contribute meaningfully to India and to my city. And I felt that Congress is no longer the party that it was when I joined it 20 years ago. Right. It certainly is not the party it was when my father joined it in 1968. And in many ways it's changed. I can only wish them the best. If they believe they don't need to improve, then I wish them the best.
Well, very gracious of you, but in what way exactly has the Congress changed since you began your career in it in 2004? Mr. Deora.
It's changed in many ways. It's in many ways, you know, this was a party which ushered in economic reforms, as I said in my speech 30 years ago. This was a party that ushered in these reforms because of which Indians have mobile phones and have access to the internet. People like you and me can be talking on a show remotely and doing this interview. But the party has disregarded that legacy. This is a party which used to offer constructive suggestions. But now it has only one ideology and one point of agenda, which is to oppose anything the Prime Minister says or does. And in my last 10 years as a leader in the opposition, you would have seen that not once have I made a personal attack against anyone in government.
True.
In fact, I would criticize on policies, I would criticize on ideas, but I would also suggest and make constructive suggestions. And that's the politics I've always believed in. I don't believe that politics is just about opposing for the sake of opposing. And I think that this country, regardless of which side of the aisle you're on, even if you're a supporter of the alliance I'm now a part of, people still feel that this country needs a constructive and strong opposition.
Very true.
And it pains me that a party with a great legacy, a great history, forgot about its history and legacy and has moved into a realm where we are getting into when the Congress would once upon a time try to unite India. Now the Congress party is talking about a north versus south divide.
Wow.
Now the party is trying to divide people on caste. And and do anything essentially to tactic points and try to get votes from the people. This politics, which is a very opportunistic style of politics, is not the politics I believe in. So I haven't changed my ideology, I haven't changed my allegiance.
Okay.
My ideology remains the same, wanting to serve the people of Mumbai, Maharashtra and India. I found a good platform, a good alliance through which I can do that. I've been told very clearly that indulge in constructive politics. Eknath Shinde ji, like the Prime Minister,
right.
is a grassroots leader. He comes from a very humble background, like our Prime Minister.
But let me ask you. Let me ask you.
And he told me very clearly that he wants me to contribute and help him strengthen Mumbai and Maharashtra.
Well, good luck to you. But let me ask you. You have been one of those rare politicians that takes responsibility. And you have always held yourself up when it comes to being accountable. You resigned from the post of the chief of the Mumbai unit when you couldn't obviously pilot the party towards victories in the Lok Sabha elections. But somehow one gets this impression that while leaders at your level in other states also do the same, the highest echelons of the party are above accountability. Why is this so?
Look, I was made president of the Mumbai Congress unit in 2019, barely less than, I think, 20 days before the Lok Sabha election.
Okay.
I had no role to play in the party's campaign, no role to play in candidate selection. I accepted the responsibility. I did my level best. I gave it not 99.5%. I gave it 120%. When the election results were before us and the party lost, I was asked to resign. I didn't have any responsibility in that defeat, but I voluntarily agreed to resign because I believe it's important to show accountability. And I also felt if I can hold myself accountable despite not having the responsibility, I have every right to ask for accountability. And I did that in 2019. I did that in 2014 after the party was reduced to 44 seats. But each and every time I made constructive suggestions, whether it was to call for introspection, whether it was to call for a new thinking of a new way of doing politics, whether it was very recently to suggest to the party leadership that they are surrendering to Shiv Sena UBT faction, who Sanjay Raut suggested that Congress should start negotiating from 0 seats. All these were in the party's interests.
Right.
If the party had listened to even 1/10 of these suggestions, I believe the party would not have been where they are today. But unfortunately, in systems like these, what tends to happen is constructive criticism or constructive suggestions are seen as revolt.
Revolt.
And this is what happens in any undemocratic organization.
Undemocratic.
And unfortunately, I was a victim of an undemocratic organization. And I decided to move into another platform which values what I bring to the table. And that's what I've done.
That's very interesting. Undemocratic platform. Therefore, you moved out where the values are different. So presumably more democratic. Now, is the party undemocratic because the Gandhis are? Because the top leadership is? Everything flows from the leadership, Mr. Deora. I don't want to sort of blame it on one individual, but the party structure, the party culture, is every organization has a culture, a political organization, a business organization, a media organization. The culture of the Congress, unfortunately, has become undemocratic. The culture of the Congress party, unfortunately, has become negative rather than constructive and positive. Yes, that is a fact. That is not for me to say, that is for the public to witness and to judge themselves. Okay.
So I tried to change that. I tried to move the party into a different area where we don't just oppose anything the Prime Minister says or does blindly. We debate on policies. If the Prime Minister says, for example, I want to have a Make in India scheme to bring employment to Indians, to bring manufacturing to India, to reduce our dependence on countries like China, who are no friends of ours. It's a good strategic objective. We should give suggestions about what the government should do. Not one constructive suggestion. Just oppose it for the sake of opposing it.
Well, you're being...
That's not the politics I enjoy.
No, because you're dignified, perhaps you are much too democratic, but let me ask you, it can be argued, now you're not obviously naming the Gandhi, but it can be argued, and many people will conclude that culture in organizations really flow from the top. So I'm going to be very blunt, because that's my style, and I'm going to ask you, does the party revolve excessively around the Gandhis? Does the Congress of today transcend the Gandhis? If it doesn't, why?
No, I'm not saying it's because of one individual or one family or one particular leader. I'm saying that the culture has become undemocratic for sure. The culture does not encourage constructive criticism. The culture, the system has, it's difficult to have your voice heard if you are providing, let's say, a left field, out of the box suggestion. That is not the Congress that I joined in 2004. At that time also there were many of the same leaders, but at that time the party worked very differently. Something has changed. Maybe in time we'll be able to psychoanalyze what went wrong with the party. But some of the people remain the same at the top, but something has changed. Something in the culture has changed. It's like, a tech company in Silicon Valley. Imagine a disruptive tech company in Silicon Valley where the culture is to wear sneakers and t-shirts and shorts, and suddenly they say now everyone has to wear a suit and tie. That would be a monumental transformation, a monumental change in their culture. That can have massive effects on the outcome of that company, positive or negative. I think those are the things that happened in the Congress party.
Massive change.
Not an individual that may have done something.
Okay, so
it's not that the individuals changed, it's that the culture has changed.
Well, that distinction, sometimes is tough to make. It's tough to make. Now, I'm going to take you into your discomfort zone, Mr. Deora. I'm going to ask you very particularly now about Rahul Gandhi. Why do you think he lost, for example, very consequential election, changing point as far as psychology is concerned, his family bastion, Amethi? Why? It had a huge impact on the Congress.
Again, I would not like to use this opportunity to make personal remarks. As I said in my statement, my politics is constructive. I've refrained from making personal remarks against the BJP and against NDA when I was in the Congress. And I believe that I want to be positive. Rahul, when I joined politics in 2004, the first and only important advice my late father gave me is only an insecure person will do the politics of criticizing others.
Wise words.
If you're secure about your abilities, if you're secure about your ideas, you will speak about what you intend to do and talk about yourself, not others.
Wise words, and you are clearly adhering to that advice. But let's ask a larger question, because we are going into an election year, 2024, and whether we like it or not, the Congress is going to project Rahul Gandhi once again, as it has done. So I'm asking you, because the people have a right to know, and you are an insider, why hasn't Rahul Gandhi emerged as a national alternative to Prime Minister Modi? What does he lack, if at all, something? Or maybe someone hasn't given him the right message. Does he lack a message? Maybe someone hasn't given him the message that he needs to enunciate. What is it?
My parting response is, I think that, without getting into individual A versus individual B,
right.
I think what has changed in our country is that the voters at large, and this is a trend which we see in many parts of the world, the voters at large want leaders who are passionate, who enjoy what they do, who have come from humble backgrounds, who understand the pain and the true aspirations of the poor. And I think that is a fundamental difference and transformation that has happened in Indian politics today. And that's why I believe the people of India voted for the Prime Minister in 2014. They voted for him in 2019. And that's why I believe in 2024 they will vote for him. So
in a way you're saying that perhaps Rahul Gandhi doesn't have a finger on the popular pulse. He's disconnected. Well, that's one way of saying it. Let me ask you this, my final question. The Congress says that your shift has been motivated by greed. You just wanted a ticket.
No, this is unfortunate. It's unfortunate that the Congress, if the Congress said that, I find it very surprising, because
it has.
There's today's a very auspicious day called Makar Sankranti, and in India, in our culture, people, for example, if they're buying gold, if families are buying gold, if they're buying anything, if they're buying a two-wheeler, if you're buying a home, if you're starting out on a new job, if you're embarking on anything, it's an auspicious day to do that. So it was not designed to disrupt, take attention away from the yatra. This is something which I decided because the Chief Minister would be traveling to Davos shortly to bring investments to Maharashtra. And this is something which I believed when I saw that the writing was on the wall. The party is not serious about wanting to change. The party is not able to negotiate with its allies effectively, give justice to its workers. I said it's time to move on. And Mr. Shinde was very kind to me. He was very keen to have me on board. He valued and respected what I brought to the table. And I took that decision. I took the plunge.
Well, someone values quite clearly your abilities, and I hope you can live up to their faith and trust. Mr. Milind Deora, best of luck to you for your career ahead. Thank you very much for speaking to me. We'll take a very short break, viewers. When we come back, air rage caught on camera. Watch this when we return.